right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and boy, it's a late one, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Prejudging for Men's Open Bodybuilding just wrapped up. We've got a lot to discuss here, so strap in, buckle up, and let's talk about it. So first things first, I think Big Ramy is winning this thing hands down. They barely moved Ramy at all at Prejudging in any of the comparisons. I feel like when he came out, it was pretty decisive, even compared to just the other individual routines. Ramy looked amazing. I think this is what everybody thought as far as who's going to win the Olympia. I think Ramy is going to win this show. He looked great. He looked better than last year. Conditioning was better. He looked fuller to me. Everything about him looked like he's going to win this Olympia. And the way they positioned him, they were really comparing the other guys more so than they were comparing anybody to Ramy. I feel like Ramy was the clear front runner at this Olympia. So that being said, my prediction after watching Prejudging is that Ramy wins. Now, let's talk about the other placings here because that's kind of what's important. So the very first call-out, and this I think will be your top 6 because this was also the last call-out. So after comparing all these guys and doing a bunch of different call-outs, they had kind of the same result by the end. So they compared the same guys at the very end. So I think this will be your solid top 6. So Brandon Curry, Nick Walker, Hadi Chupin, Derek Lunsford, Samson Dauda impressively in that top 6, and Big Ramy noticeably outside of the top 6. Hunter Labrada was not in there. William Bonac, not in there. Andrew Jacked, not in there. Michael Krizo, not in there. Blessing Awodabu, a lot of talk, a lot of noise. Blessing Awodabu was in, I believe, the 4th call-out, like the second to last call-out. So your top 6, it looks like it's pretty solid that it's going to be these 6 guys. Nick Walker, Brandon Curry, Hadi Chupin, Derek Lunsford, Samson, and Ramy. Now, that being said, like I said, I think Ramy is the clear-cut winner. I don't think anybody is really challenging him. I do think he is ahead of the pack. So let's talk about these other guys. Who impressed me the most? Derek really, really stood out to me. Derek, when he came out, immediately looked impressive. His V-taper, insane. His conditioning, insane. From the back, crazy. Crazy width from the back. For a guy that said he was going to weigh 230 pounds, mid to low 230s, looked crazy wide. Derek was very impressive. One of the most impressive guys to me, in my opinion. Hadi Chupin, as the night went on, I think he got more conditioned. He got harder. He looked a little bit drier, and that could be from sweating and just from being up there posing for so long. I think Hadi looked better as the night went on. Nick Walker looked really good. Nick Walker was very solid. Conditioning was good. Typical Nick Walker. Samson Dauda, I think the surprise of the night for me, I'm going to eat my words on this one. I didn't have Samson in my top 10. I'm going to own that right now. Samson looked incredible. Samson deserved to be in that first call-out. He deserves to be in the top 6. With that being said, he was in some other call-outs, and I think that means the judges probably have him towards the outside of that top 6, so likely in a 5th or 6th spot. So those are the 2 predictions that I really feel the most confident in, is Ramy winning and Samson being closer to the outside of this call-out. So Ramy winning and maybe Samson in 6. But Samson looked incredible, and I think he's got a really bright future because his structure, his shape is wildly impressive. Now, Brandon Curry, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Brandon Curry, I don't think will be second here. And I believe I predicted Hadi Chupin in second in my predictions. I kind of feel comfortable with that after watching this. Brandon Curry looked noticeably bigger. He looked fuller. He looked rounder. But I think his conditioning suffered. And I think as the night went on, I think Brandon faded. I think Brandon is going to be outside of the top 2. Last year he was runner-up. I honestly don't think Brandon is going to be runner-up this year. Now the rest of this top 6, very hard to predict. I think Nick and Derek and Hadi, I mean, they're all so good. They all were on. Hadi was on. Derek was on. Nick was on. Nobody really looked off. It's really hard to predict. If I had to, this is what I would say. I would go with Ramy winning. I'm going to go with Hadi Chupin in second. I'm going to go Nick Walker third. Derek in 4th, Brandon in 5th, and Samson in 6th. I think that Derek was just, and I did a live stream on Instagram, and when Derek came out, he was like by far the biggest fan reaction in the comments. I think Derek is going to be in there. I think this is a tough one, man. It's really, really hard to predict, and I think anybody that gets this right, you deserve there should be some betting odds on bodybuilding because this is a tough one to predict. But I think the safest prediction is Ramy winning. Hadi looked really good. I think he moves up from last year. I think he takes second place. Oh, man. It's a tough one. That's kind of how I think it's going to shake out, though. But let's talk about these other guys here. So I was surprised. I'm not really surprised because that was kind of how I predicted it to go. But Bonac was outside the top 6. Hunter was outside the top 6. Krizo, Andrew jacked. And they did call out with Samson also kind of outside the top 6. But I think he's, at this point, it's safe to say he's in it. Ian Valliere in there as well. Ian looked really good. Conditioning was on point. Andrew jacked, I think, looked a little bit watery. I think he looked a little bit soft compared to how we saw him at the Texas Pro, even compared to the Arnold Classic UK. I think the best Andrew that we've seen so far was at the Arnold Classic UK. I don't think he looked better here. So let's see. Who's going to be in the top 10 if we're talking beyond the top 6? It looked to me, they did another call out with Hunter, Bonac, Andrew, and Krizo, right? Yeah. It looked like they have Hunter the closest to the top 6. So Hunter will probably be in 7th place. I think my prediction is going to turn out right with Bonac. Bonac looks like 8th place to me. And like I said, I'm not trying to act like I have good predictions because every year it's very hard to predict. And like I said, I was completely wrong about Samson Dauda, but I do think Hunter's probably going to wind up in 7th, and that's where I predicted him. Bonac, I think, is going to wind up in 8th. Andrew jacked, it's hard to say. I think Krizo looked tighter than Andrew, bigger than Andrew. I could see, well, I had Krizo in 9th. Maybe Andrew ends up outside the top 10. I don't know. I think Krizo was ahead of Andrew. I think Krizo was ahead of Ian. So I would like to see Krizo in that 9th place spot, and then maybe 10th place is Andrew and Ian battling it out. But I do think it's safe to say that that prediction was right. Ian is not in the conversation for top 6, and I think he's more towards the outside of even that inner top 10. Because I think it was pretty solid based on those call-outs. Hunter and Bonac are the closest to the top 6. And then Andrew, Ian, Krizo, those guys were more on the outside. So if you've got Samson in 6th and Hunter takes 7th and Bonac takes 8th, then the placings that we're talking about are 9, 10, 11. So that's what Andrew, Ian, and Krizo, I believe, are fighting for. If I had to pick one to put outside the top 10, which it looks like we're going to have to based on how many guys are in these callouts, I would honestly say Andrew, because I believe Andrew's conditioning was the furthest from what I wanted to see here. But look, there's not much more to say. That's going to wrap it up for the video. I really want to hear your guys' predictions in the comments down below. Based on this prejudging, what do you guys think? Who's winning? What's your top 6? Who's going to be outside of the top 10? Who is eating the most humble pie right now after watching this show? Probably Blessing, right? And as always, my coverage of the 2022 Olympia weekend is presented to you by the Arnold Sports Festival, the world's #1 health and fitness sports expo. To celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Arnold Classic, they're running a limited time pay-per-view sale. Enjoy all of the weekend's nonstop action for just $35. Don't miss out. Purchase yours today before the sale is over. Head on over to arnoldsports.com and check it out. As always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Olympia coverage. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.
I think that every bodybuilder has something unique. If it is the pose off or if it is a certain pose that really closes the deal. I think the action is a lot of it in a combination of symmetry, of size, muscle separation, definition, and the performance so that you can show off this quality that you have. Because they have a lot.
All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.